What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow investors, entrepreneurs, and business owners alike and helping them understand the cryptocurrency space where we feel like that's the biggest opportunity over the next few years. We're pumped to have you guys along for the ride. Welcome to the open mic show today. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, just truly blessed and honored to be on this amazing journey with you guys, where we are using cryptocurrency as that wealth creation tool and then using real estate as a wealth preservation tool. And just, going through this bloody bear market, trying to navigate and just the fact that we are all here now means that we are in the right place at the right time, right at the bottom. Maybe we have more downward pressure, maybe we don't, but still, regardless, we are closer to the bottom than we are to the top. And it's just going to be a true blessing as we're moving into 2024 and we see that presidential election and we see the money printer turn back on because maybe they broke something, or maybe it's just time for us to start being dovish again. And I think that we're going to have a tremendous year next year, and it's going to be awesome. And so I'm just glad to be on this journey with you guys. And Dane just dropped the StreamYard link for today's show. This is the open mic day. This is Friday. So we want you guys to come on and rap with us about anything and everything, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's market conditions, and even real estate if you wanted to. We love talking anything that's relevant to money and just growth in life. So come on, guys. Let's have a good time today. I see we already got one in. He's always on every Friday. He's one of our regulars.
Hello, gents. You okay?
What's up, Norbert?
Hey. I'm always glad to have Friday to talk to like positive, like-minded, genuine, down-to-earth people like yourself. And like I said last time, I hope one day you're gonna meet in person as well. I'm really looking forward to that.
I got a feeling we will, just because we're on the same journey together, and there will be a time where that journey crosses our paths. It's just
most likely. So how was your week?
Good, man. Good. It's been boring in crypto, so I just been here in Puerto Rico and enjoying it with the family, and yeah, man. And that's about it, man. It's pity.
So you settled. The house is set up. You settled. Everything is okay.
Yeah. We're done with that. The house is pretty much done. We got ourselves a car now, a vehicle. We just bought ourselves a Jeep Compass. Small little SUV, just get the family around, grocery getter.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, it's a good vehicle, man, for the price. So yeah, so man, we're pretty much done. We're set. We're gonna hang out till like maybe the December, like the second week of December, third week of December. And then we'll head back to Arizona. I mean, I have to go back to the States 4 different times this year. And who knows, might not be more. But right now, it's 4 different times for different real estate events and masterminds. And so, but yeah, if I could try to get back in Arizona before Christmas, I would love to be able to spend the holidays down in down in Arizona. But we'll see.
Nice. And you, Dane? How was your week? What is your beautiful blonde girl, man? She's so cute when she shows up.
She's a little spitfire, man. She's off at daycare today, but it was good, man. We had an awesome week. It's fun to see things like. In fact, I'll pull it up here. I don't know if did you sacrifice for Piteous, Norbert?
No, not for that one. I just hearing this last time that I was like, what? When was this closed already, or is it still open?
It's closed. I just launched the token. I'll go ahead and pull it.
Okay. Yeah, somehow I missed it. Normally I like to even just to chuck a little bit of money in, like few hundred or whatever to be exposed. And you never know that later on down the road they release something else, and then they say, yeah, if you did the first one, then you get a bit of extra for that one or whatever. So it's always good. I don't know, somehow I missed it. I'm too much into Fuchs, man. PHUX. I'm really into that thing. It's like in how did Raw Powell said, I'm irresponsibly long on PHUX at the moment because everything is so dead. Everything is just so flat, and I'm like, yeah, I can pick up a few things here. And like I said last time, my PLS bags and other people PLSX bag is dropped so much that I couldn't care less about impermanent loss at this point, to be honest with you, because if we thinking that, oh yeah, he's gonna do a 50x, 100x, whatever. What if he's not gonna do a 50x? But if I'm making that investment as my employee and he's gonna do something for me right now, I'd rather take that little bit of chunk every day, and then once a week I cash out, and then I put the money back in, or I swap it for something else, and I try to increase I think I have like 5 or 6 of these farms in PHUX. I try to trying to building them up, try to build them up, to a level when it's like, yeah, okay, this one is a little bit behind. Maybe this week is worth putting a bit more on this one or whatever.
If you look at the, because we're always measuring everything against Pulse. I got this from Axis. He was measuring FUX against Pulse, and I saw it. So now all my FUX that I'm earning, I'm converting into Pulse right now. So until the chart goes differently.
Oh, so you always converting it to Pulse,
right? As of like literally today, like it's just my strategy. I mean, you can hold it and build on the FUX if you want. If you think that's going to be the one that's going to be the best, and it absolutely could. But man, I'm very hard set in going everything eventually at one point in time or another into the layer 1, and then So we'll see, man. But the chart looks. I don't know if you want to. So what is this one, Dane? This is Piteous.
Yeah, this one is Piteous. It just launched, and yeah, you see initial little sell off here from people that were early here right at the jump, and then we're getting a little bit.
I mean, if I'd have caught that green candle, I would have sold it too. That's a nice green candle.
It is, and there's liquidity on PulseX and FUX, so that's good. I like the team. They're building. They produced a product before they even had a sacrifice. They're new to the community, so you want to be careful about what you're doing there. But all in all, I mean, it's a solid launch, and I like the product.
Yeah. We got one of our.
Can't see who is this gentleman, but yeah, welcome, sir, with the glasses.
Yeah, we got one of our favorite
hello.
Gentlemen here, Mr. Frank Conversations. I love Frank.
Hey guys.
Frank, back at the, what was it, Frank? Did we meet
PulseCon
at the PulseCon?
Yeah.
All right, so I got conned out of the event, but I got to meet you at least.
Exactly. This is the advantageous relationship we all produced out of the PulseCon.
Out of that con of PulseCon, yeah. It was.
What's up, guys?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing there, Norbert?
Yeah, all good. Good. Happy to be here with the positive, like-minded people.
Totally. Where are you from, Norbert? Originally,
I'm from Hungary.
Oh, nice. I've been there.
Yeah. And I moved to the UK in 2005 and been on the island since.
Nice. I'm actually vacationing in Michigan right now, and Hungary, I understand, is probably the cherry capital of Europe, right? Eastern Europe, maybe. Because I had cherry soup over there. I know this is off topic here, but I'm in Michigan, the cherry capital of the United States right now. So
you had cherry soup.
Oh, okay.
It's delicious.
Interesting.
We have cherry soup apparently. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cold cherry soup.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now there's going to end up.
What are you most excited?
Somebody's going to create a meme coin.
A meme coin called cherry soup.
Cold cherry coin. Yeah, cherry soup, whatever.
Everything sells these days.
It's certainly been exciting watch. I compare as I reflect on the bear market, right? And you see things kind of take a dip lower, maybe a little ratchet up, and then they go lower. I compare it to the inverse of a bull market. When you're watching a bull market, you're seeing things go up. You're like, wow. And then you're like, they tapers off and then goes up again. You're like, starting to feel euphoric. Here, it's pretty much the opposite. You see it go down, you're like, man, this is brutal. And then you're like, another down leg, man, this is brutal. So this is our indoctrination into crypto, going through an entire bull market, bear market cycle. So it's exciting. If it is uncomfortable, no question, but I wouldn't want to be any other place, because if we were, we'd be getting in after all the hype is happening. Our gains would be significantly less, and we'd be scratching our heads when the bull market came and we didn't take profits. So I look at this as just a beautiful thing right now.
Well, let's see how many Bitcoin miners, Blackstone, I don't want to say that company, respecting Dane and Corey, how many of those miners they're gonna control, and that's an interesting thing. What do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, they're accumulating, aren't they? Don't they own what was the percentage?
That's a good question.
I saw a statistic on Twitter. I can't remember what the numbers were, but I know that they are accumulating a lot of mining companies right now. That's where
they do.
They want to buy the world, man.
Oh, it's wild.
So,
yeah, wow.
What about you, Frank? Did you participate in the sacrifice for Pitius?
No, I didn't. Okay. I can't even spell it unless I look at it. So
almost up a double right now, Corey.
Did we pump a little more? Oh yeah, we're still pumping.
Almost up a double. That's pretty good. It'll be fun to see. Yeah, it'll be fun to see what happens in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, Brizology says he says when he searched on it, he couldn't find it, and then when he added it, it gave him a warning.
I didn't have that. I didn't have any warnings.
I didn't either.
When I added it, I found it just fine on Pitius. It was there.
Maybe it's where Brizology is located at. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's up 80-90% on. Yeah, I'll take it and let it just keep going. And I mean, if it did for me, if it did 3 to 5x, I would probably take profits and then wait for it to correct.
Yeah.
And then buy my position back, and then the profits would go into Pulse.
Sure. I like it.
It is important to keep accumulating Pulse. I mean, because that's the
layer one, man.
Coins, right?
This is the ecosystem that you're putting all your faith and belief in. That should be your store of value until whenever you're trying to exit the system completely.
Yeah. Joe's a question. What would you guys say here? Do Hex and Pulse have any hope of survival, or down only from now on? What are your guys' thoughts?
Of course. Of course. Next question.
It's just of course. There's no data backing it. There's not.
I thought about this also with Hex, P-Hex on Pulse Chain. It's an entirely different coin. When you think about it, could it do another 10,000x? I don't know. I mean, I find that buying stuff on Pulse Chain with not having to compete with yourself and gas fees, it's a no-brainer to purchase a certain amount of Pulse, because you're not trying to calculate, am I spending 20 or 30 bucks or whatever it is for your Ethereum gas fees. It's just a different animal. That's exciting. So I don't know. I'm not trying to create any controversy or anything like that, but I feel like it's an entirely different coin. I think it's a stronger coin, and I think it's easier for people that are counting that are watching their dollars going into gas fees. I think it's really important for them and a no-brainer for them to make more purchases. So I think from the standpoint of, I think we're going to have more people getting into Hex.
Mm-hmm.
And then, always we have to get more whales to get into it as well.
Yeah, it depends on the adoption and how many people will be. But shows like yours, guys, and the way how you are interacting with more people than myself. But if it's gonna be more education and more interaction and more, the word is getting out, and we have some sort of price stability, then we have a good chance of not even 10,000x. I think it was a bit too much, because we are second cycle. Let's not forget about that one. But they say it's all about liquidity, how much liquidity is available. But the thing is, there was this the documentary coming out, and if I can be a little bit honest, I know no expectation, but I was expecting a bit of pump, like before, when we had some sort of news in the last cycle. They could pump anything to the sky, but this time we had like a decent documentary, and after that professor came out and said really good things, positive things about Hex, but it did nothing to the price. So it's interesting times. I don't think we can rely on anything anymore, because shit can pump and the good things can dump. So
I'll tell you something I learned that I find very valuable and very true. And I learned this from B Roots, is that good news in a bear market will do nothing to price. Only bad news will affect price, and of course to the downside. In a bull market, bad news does nothing to price, and good news will pump price. And so it follows the rule. That's how you know when you're in a bear market. In a bull market, and man, there's never been true words spoken by somebody in this space that, you can have all the bullish news and momentum you want. If people are not buying, they're just not buying. And you just have nothing but sellers. And another saying I really like, this is by Sami, is that the bear market ends not when buyers come back in, but the bear market ends when sellers are gone. And same with the bull market. The bull market ends not when sellers stop, or not when it's bull market ends when buyers stop buying. That's so it's like almost inverse the way we think about markets. And it's very interesting when you look at it from that perspective, and it makes a lot of sense. It also keeps me, when I think about that, it keeps me a lot more grounded. It's like, the documentary came out, and the professor's talking good about Hex all over Twitter, but Hex ain't doing anything. It's because that's good news. Good news ain't going to do anything right now. It's just we're still in a bear. And
yeah, true. People don't have money. Yeah, that's true.
When you bring up Professor Black, I think he's going to be. I mean, he's very enthusiastic within the Hex community. I think
see that.
And it'd be like a bridge between legacy and.
I think he will too.
In an educated way. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
I mean, his story has just begun with our community, which is pretty fascinating to have watched him being a complete skeptic and just like, Hex don't do anything. What is this? I don't get it. To like all to the point now where he's talking all the good points about Hex. And I mean, he's really a smart guy. And that bell curve, you have the bell curve, and then all the mid curvers in the middle are the ones who don't, they don't get it because they're not smart enough and they're not dumb enough to follow the herd. Like he falls on way the other side of the bell curve where he's smart enough that he gets it, right? The light bulb's turned on for him. He understands what's going on here. And yeah, I think he's going to play probably a tremendous role. Mark my words. He'll play a tremendous role when the bull market comes.
Yeah. He's so articulate, and he's just a downright good guy,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
And he's in Chicago.
Oh, is he in Chicago? I didn't catch that. He's in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You should meet up with them, Frank, sometime.
I will. I will. Who knows? That's my intention, is that I do at some point. I guess he was at the
DM. Say, hey man, I'm a Hexican. I live here in Chicago. I'd love to meet up for lunch sometimes. I mean, the worst you're going to get is no response. I mean,
his DePaul. I used to live 3 blocks from DePaul University, so I could probably stop in and see him if I wanted to.
Yeah, it'd be really cool, dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah. He was at the highest of stakes in Chicago, but I was in Austin at the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, Norbert, talking about, expecting a pump from the movie. It's fascinating, even something like Bitcoin right now. There's been incredible news with with wins in DeFi and the ETFs, looking like they're more and more likely to get approved. It's just a matter of when. And even Bitcoin, it saw a nice pump there, and then it's pretty much retraced that whole pump. And so until
almost like instantly too, it's like
yep.
It's wild.
Until we're back in the bull run in general, there's not a lot of reason for any of this stuff to like sustainably stay pumped. The question is when does that all start? And I don't think we're that far away. I really don't.
We are very close. I say it all the time. We are closer to the bottom than we are from the top, and we're definitely closer to the end of the bear market than we are when we started. I mean, we are almost there. I feel like September could be a bloody month. We've talked about this before, or maybe it's not. Who knows? But it could be. You got the whole waters above thing talking about September 16th. So we'll see what transpires from that, or if anything. But the Jubilee year is over September 17th. And so I feel like if we can make it through that, I think we're going to be okay. Once you got the Halloween season kind of coming in, things start changing. Like the sentiment, just in general, because then right around the corner is Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's the end of the year, and you got the holidays, and it's just it's a different time. I love the fourth quarter of the year. It's always my favorite. And even when I'm in Arizona, because that's the Arizona, it starts cooling down, and it's like, yeah, no matter where I'm at, man, the fourth quarter of the year is my favorite time of the year.
It's the beginning of the holiday season.
It's a blast. Yeah, and the seasons are changing, and it's just a blast. What do you think a decent bag of pulls for the bull is? I don't know. Oh, boy. Man, that is financial advice, Ted.
But I think you give perspective. Like a decent bag of pulls to one of you guys might be different than it.
What is your goals though? Like, what do you consider a lot of money? What is and
how many X's do you think we see from here? I think it's good to calculate and say, hey, like, I'm fairly confident we probably don't see a lot more pain in the Pulse price. But I absolutely could be wrong.
All right. We could be totally wrong. I mean,
we're like 4 zeros and a 4 right now, or just a touch under. And so you just do the math from there and you say, hey, is it like, I don't know, what do you think the upside of Pulse is? Do you think it's 100x? And you want to get to $1 million from here? I mean, you need 10 grand in at these levels to get there. If you thought it had 100x potential over the next, year and a half, couple of years, however long you think the bull run is going to be.
That's the big unknown factor, right? Like, what's a lot of money? For some people, $1 million is a lot. For me, it's not. It's not a lot of money. I was making that in my business, no problem. That was there was a time in my business where we were making $250,000 a month. So $1 million is not my goal out of crypto, but for some people it is. So it's all relevant. It's all relevant.
Yeah, and Ted,
all relevant. Yeah.
If I were Ted, I think two things here. I wouldn't when usually for myself included, when I ask other people about things, I'm comparing myself. Comparison is not a great way to acquire PLS, like by comparison. However, a lot of people do look at what it takes to be a squid, what it takes to be a whale, what it takes.
Very good.
Neat things to kind of, if you're being competitive, look and see what it takes to become a dolphin or a whale. Or
very good. Yes.
And ratio as well, compared to just look at your personal finance, how much savings I got. First sort out your savings. Have at least 6 to 9 months savings on your bank account. Anything happens, then you are safe. Once you are done with that one, then I don't know, look at 20-30% of the remaining finance, whatever you make, whatever savings you have, and then start slowly increasing. And yeah, you said brilliantly, there's no point comparing yourself, because as the Japanese say, there's always a bigger fish. It's just building, like do another 50 do another 50 push-ups, tomorrow. So buy another whatever hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of PLS next month or 2 months later, and just keep building. There's no point doing this. But yeah, first let's create a stable ground, savings, and even if you have a bit of extra money, invest it in yourself and then grow. And then once you make more money, then you can invest more. There's no point just keep throwing money at, I don't know, avatars and dreams and hopes and whatnot.
Well, I love what Frank said. And, anytime I'm going into a new project or protocol or looking at acquiring a position somewhere, that's how I do it, Frank. I'm like, okay, do I want like dolphins? How much do I really like the protocol and how much faith do I have in it? If I have a lot of faith in something, I might want to achieve a shark position, maybe, depending on how much it costs. Pulse chain is still a lot of money to find it to be a shark. So that could be a little bit hard to hit. But if I really believe in it, maybe it's a dolphin position, and at the very least a squid. And if you're a squid at a very good fun, protocol that has good fundamentals, that should have some longevity in it, something like Pulse could have. I mean, we're not giving financial advice. A squid could get you where you might are trying to go, depending, like I said, if it's $1 million a lot to you, is it $2 million a lot for you? Is $5 million a lot for you? What changes your life and what changes your family's life? A squid might be enough. And if it's not, like Dane had said, start crunching the numbers, and then maybe it is something closer to a dolphin position that you might need to obtain to get where you're going. So it's just, everyone's goals is different. Everyone's finances is different. And so it's very difficult to go. And that's why you can never get financial advice. It's like, how do you give somebody, I mean, when we barely know anybody here, we know each other a little bit, but we don't know, I don't know what Dane has in his bank account. I don't want to know. It's none of my business, right? It's like, I don't need to know. So it'd be hard for me to tell Dane, hey, you need to have at least a dolphin, bro. What are you doing? No, you can't do that. It's only you can sit down with that calculator and that pen and piece of paper, maybe it's in a Excel sheet, and really crunch the numbers and try to figure out and make a business plan. Make a plan and be realistic with that plan. Don't go moon boy and go 10,000x, right? Be very realistic with your plan. And that would be my advice. But yeah, I love that, Frank. I'm always like every little protocol, like Piteous, dude, I sacrificed, I'll tell you what, guys, I sacrificed just a couple grand and I'm a shark. I was like, I'm a shark at a couple grand. That's pretty awesome.
Or Tetris too, the same with Tetris, it's like
smaller. Tetris the same way. I still think you could buy a dolphin position for like $700. What that means is if Tetris freaking rips and does 100x or 500x, and you have that position, man, you're gonna be just fine. The way I look at it with these sea creature leagues, it's like, what is the percentage of the company I own, right? Like how much of the company, of the shares of that company do I own? And that sea creature, the leagues, kind of gives me the feeling of how much I own of that company. And that way, if that company were to really take off and do amazing numbers, it gives me a gauge where I stand.
Yes. And one other thing I'm going to add to that is whenever you're setting your goals, don't forget to add or something better. Because if you tell the universe, hey, I want $1 million, well, it's trying, right, to hit the deal. But if you say that or something better, you include a whole lot more in your scope. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
it's interesting right now. So if you exclude the OA tokens, going off the data from GoPulse, there's 15 trillion tokens excluding the OA on Pulse. At today's pricing, in order to get a shark position, I mean, it's still not cheap. You're over $500,000, $567,000 to get a dolphin. You need just $56,000 roughly speaking.
I'll give you one even harder. Hex. To become a hex shark, it's still a butt ton of money. It's more than an Impulse.
Yeah, it's not
because
cheap.
Hex has already done such multiple X's from its initial bottoming. It's yeah. So it's also relevant into like for me, like I'll look at a protocol and I'm like, okay, how much do I really like this protocol or project, or I'm trying to get a position in. And of course, the more I like it, and the more I have faith in it, the higher position I would like to try to obtain. But sometimes it's impossible. I'm not going to go and pull out all the mortgage on my house to obtain a shark position in Pulse. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not willing to take that much risk on it. You know what I mean? And so you also have to weigh that in too. There's so many factors. There's just so many factors. That's why everyone has to sit down and do this themselves.
Yeah.
But a squid position is great. That's what I told my brother to go after. I was like, hey, you want to get a squid position? And he's able to do it. I know my brother's finances really well. We're really close. And so like he's pretty much obtained it. And I feel like if Pulse does something spectacular, he's going to be all right. So we'll see.
You could also ask the question to yourself, like, what's life-changing money? And then
thank you. That's such a you're going to hear different of opinions from everybody on what's a lot of money to you or what's life-changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll be right back. I'm baking a cake right now, so hold on. I really am.
In the middle of the afternoon, Frank.
Mr. Baker.
I'm on
Mr.
vacation.
Baker.
Mike asked a good question. So as far as the sea creature leagues are concerned, it's just a representation of how much of the supply that you own. And so, for instance, a whale is categorized as 1% of the supply. So if you took, for really oversimplified math, you take the total supply, you multiply it by 1%, which is a 0.01, and that shows you. And then from there, you can take that amount and multiply it by the price today, and that would show you what a whale position costs. And then you just add a decimal each time. So a whale is 1%, a shark is 0.01, a dolphin is 0.1. Thank you. Dolphin is 0.01, so on and so forth. Just keep adding decimals, and it's a way to kind of track your position in the protocol. In fact, Brizology, this is an interesting take. I've always wanted to acquire 1/1,000,000th of the total supply of each coin, because if it takes off, only 1 million people can hold my position.
That's
an interesting take. I like it.
It is an interesting take.
Yeah. Interesting.
Where'd you
So these positions are for any of the assets within the Hex and Pulse ecosystem, or just PDS?
That's any crypto period. The league.
Okay.
That's any crypto. Yeah. That's not just, what, I don't know if we're the ones who made it, popular or not, but you've always heard of Bitcoin whales and Bitcoin sharks and Ethereum whales. This has been around for a while.
Sloth did some stuff on it too.
Yeah. What source do you guys use for the leagues? Wildly different numbers on different platforms. Yeah, I've seen them. So for Pulse, I just went to Go Pulse. They seem to have some of the best data. And there you can sort out the OA. You can take the OA out. And so that's a good resource for that type of, as far as like Pulse chain assets. Outside of that, you can go to Dex Screener or, Gecko Terminal to be able to look at charts and total supply. And it varies too, because depending upon, what cryptocurrency you're invested in, some of them, some of them inflate, some of them deflate, some of them have, they have different mechanisms. And so the numbers can change as far as those leagues are concerned. And then you have something like Fiat that has a fixed supply. And so you got to get, I think it's like 55,555 tokens to get a shark, and that number will stay constant. So it depends on a lot of factors.
Yep, well said.
And it's also, I noticed last time that it's also good to look around on various dexes, because you get different amount of tokens if you go to each of them. So I went on Portal X Swap, I went on PHUX, obviously PoseX. So it's always good to look around before you pull the trigger, just to see. I know it's a minuscule we're talking about, but as they say, every little helps, and if you do it many times and long term, then it can all add up.
Yep,
absolutely.
Hey, what's everybody think about PulseX right now? I mean, it's so cheap. It's like you want to buy it just because it's cheap,
I'm very sad. I put a lot in it, and it's worth almost. I lost like 90%. And I haven't lost it, but it's not nice to look at those numbers. That's for sure.
Yeah, you could bring your cost average down by DCing at these levels, but I mean, for me, Frank, I'm just I'm only after one thing for the most part, and that's acquiring more node validators. I'm like, I'm on a mission, bro. Like, I just want more and more node validators.
I just don't. Yeah, I'm with Corey. I just don't think. And once again, I could be wrong. I don't think PulseX has some of the upside that a lot of other things that are either out or coming out have. And so I feel like my money will be treated better elsewhere. So I am not personally interested in acquiring more.
Now it is,
but things can change.
Yeah, that's what I say. It is.
Like Uniswap. You remember Uniswap became really big after Hex popping up on it. So something similar can happen. And as what is it called? Power City is still not out yet. So
yeah,
so I haven't had lunch yet. So I need to eat something. I was like really busy.
Yeah, the EARN protocol. It'll be really bullish for PulseX in general, at least for during the market cycle. I don't know, the short term. I don't see like anything's bullish short term. But yeah, you're right. It's the contrarian play. I mean, if you think that RH will get back around, what happened, man, is he just launched everything so quick, and he had to because of the SEC. If you feel like he'll get back around to making all the upgrades that he had initially talked about, PulseX might have its day in the sun one day. I mean, it's very well possible. And if you acquire at these lows, who knows? It's just not. It's not my interest, I guess. I'm not going to ever say it won't do amazing things, but it's definitely not I just want node validators. I like the layer one, man. That historically, nothing long-term outperforms the layer one. It's just, that's usually your safest bet. Now, I do believe PX can, but even then, I think it's only going to be in the short term. And some of these other protocols, of course, right? But it's just, we've seen this time and time again on all these different chains. And my ETHWell friend out here is even just like, he's pounded it in my head. He's just like, look, stop playing with everything. You need to be just focusing on the layer one. He's like, you don't understand. I've been through this multiple times. Focus on the layer one. You will not regret it. And so it's just, I want to make sure I'm just, keeping my eye on the prize. And it's not to say that PulseX can freaking rip and do amazing. It doesn't mean that. Yeah, but it's just right now, man, I want to stack node validators.
But it's not hard to compare. Like you compare other things that are similar, right? Like how have DEXs performed in comparison to layer one tokens or to Aave or to GMX or to, to Liquidity forks. Like, I think it's pretty easy to be able to make those comparisons and say, hey, where do you think your money will be treated best? And I just don't think that I don't think a DEX is the highest upside play compared to other things that you could buy. So that's how I'm thinking of it. And Norbert nailed it, right? Things could change. But even if they do, in my opinion, even when the EARN protocol comes out and we're in the full, bull run, do you think PulseX is going to outperform Pulse at these levels? Do you think it's going to outperform, Hex? Do you think it's going to outperform? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. I don't know the answer, but you make an informed decision based upon what you think will happen, and then you buy accordingly. Yeah,
I would definitely not say don't buy it, Frank. If you like it and you think it's going to do amazing, and that's the contrarian play, do it. It's only you can tell yourself, what is this the play I want to put all my chips on? So yeah. And pricing right now, bro, new money at these levels on PulseX. Oh my gosh, bro.
That's the thing. A few guys, they were talking about this. One of them was Stefan, Money Game Crypto, and I forgot who else was talking about, but I specifically remember him. He was saying that watch what happens after the first 60 to 90 days, and then whatever drops the biggest, and it has a decent use case and a good thing behind it, then try to accumulate more of those tokens. So
sure,
Pultex dropped significantly. So
I'm more in this camp with Brizology, and Brizology's an OG. This guy knows his shit. And he's like, imagine being able to buy 30-cent Ethereum. That's Pulse Chain right now, but probably even at a better value. This is me, man. I mean, think about if you could go back in time and be there on day one of Ethereum, you know, or the ICO of Ethereum, or anywhere around that time. I don't care where I wouldn't care. Just slap me somewhere around there, and you can't miss. But I mean, this is it. And this is what all my other whale and shark friends are telling me the same thing with this ideology here. And so there's going to be short-term plays. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be stuff that will beat it in the short run, and it will happen. But long-term, it's just, I think Brizology hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, this is. I don't think this is the craziest take. I think EHEX does an XRP, it pumps and does not make all-time high ever again.
Possible.
I mean, Richard created Pulse Chain largely for the reason that, you know, we could come and use Hex as it how it was intended to be used without getting scalped in fees.
Yeah, I get the monthly stake my Hex now. I have a rolling monthly stake. It's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like, you know, so I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not real interested in acquiring more EHEX.
I'm not either. I got some stakes that will be coming out. And of course, we'll see what happens when those come out. It's just, yeah, I love PHEX, man. Like Frank said earlier, PHEX is almost like a new token. Almost. It's
the dynamic of low fees. You can't underestimate the dynamic of lower fees.
I agree, man. That's why I'm doing my monthly rolling stake now. I was doing some monthly stuff on Ethereum, man, but I just cringe every time I'm paying anywhere from $5 to $10 every single. I'm like, God, 10. That's a monthly stake, right? And the longer you stake out, the more you pay. And so I'm like, man, $10 every single time I got to do this. Like, I'm just thinking, like, man, I can go and buy like, you know, burgers for my whole family. Like, it's like it just eats at me. And
yeah. And I don't know, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like a new token because there's already been the distribution, right? Like it's a reflection of the people that have been a part of the ecosystem for years now. And so, I wouldn't go so far as to say to treat it like a new token, but we've seen what it could do in the past, right? We've seen the excitement. We've seen, you know, all that type of stuff. And I think you nailed it, Frank. What could it do on a chain where it's really cheap to transact? Every time that I go back and I'm watching, I mean, probably like you guys every single day looking at price charts, just because I find it, well, not that enjoyable more recently, but I keep a pulse on things. I mean, Hex has been pretty strong, and I was in the camp that Pulse would probably outperform Hex this next go around because Pulse was the new thing. And maybe it does. I don't know. But so far, I mean, Hex is arguably looking like the strongest of all of Richard's tokens. So that could change. You know, it could be different in the future. I don't know. It's interesting to observe those so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Agree 100%. But I will say this. It might not be a new token, Dane, because you're right. The distribution has already been kind of handed out, and it's got the community. But it is a new ticker and a new price chart. Like, Richard could use that new chart and brag about it, right? He'd be like, look, this is this is the PHEX chart, and he can do a nice little, whether it's 100x or whatever it may be. It does have that component about it. And yeah, so we'll see.
And we can say it's the first cycle coin.
That's true, right? I guess you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have any of you guys used the Coast on and off ramp?
I haven't. I signed up for it and it did everything. I staked my weight token. You know, it cost me like a couple $100 to buy the weight, and then it's in there. I'm probably gonna try it with maybe a couple grand this month or next. just to give it a test spin. The liquidity is still pretty thin, so you got to be careful when you're using the CST token. It's just, if you're doing it in large numbers, you can really slip against yourself. And so, I remember we use stable coins so we can keep our crypto stable, not so we can have slippage and volatility. And so right now we're so early, and the liquidity is so low. We just need to give it time to build up. But I might run a few $100 through it just to give it a test spin, and that way, when it does build that liquidity up and I have a little more confidence, I can send in a little bit larger chunk of money through it. But right now it's rough.
Yeah. I bought my weight so I could secure the 1% fee, but even at 1%, it's a lot. Yeah, you could go and use something like Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini, whatever. I'm not familiar with Gemini, but something like Coinbase, I can go buy USDC there for no fees. I can send that over to my ETH wallet, and I can bridge it across 3%, or not 3%. I think, isn't it like 0.3% the fee?
0.3. So the delta on that, you got to look, is 0.7. So
yeah, you're still a better deal doing that. So that's my preferred right now. I just buy via Coinbase, buy USDC. There's no fees to do that. I can send that off to my ETH wallet and then use the bridge across on, a little bit of gas fee and a 0.3%. It's a better deal than the Coast off and on ramp. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I like
maybe
it.
Over time they'll adjust it.
What was that, Frank?
Depends on where you're located. Sorry, Frank. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm confused.
Maybe over time they'll adjust it. maybe, and then that'll offer some more game theory involved in how they're doing it. Like maybe it'll go from a 1% to a 0.5%.
I hope so, man, because it makes it what it does is that it makes it unattractive for bigger money to use it. Is what it does, in my opinion. I love it that they're the first movers. Maybe another protocol will launch and compete with them too. Competition is always a great thing, and that's when you'd see those fees dropping when you have competition. So maybe we'll see that. So yeah, but I'm happy that we have it, and that's why I'm going to use it on the small scale. I will use a little bit of it. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to get comfortable with it, and I'm excited for it. These are the things we need. We are such in our infancy stage right now, and these are the type of things that's such a beautiful to come to life on this brand new chain in the midst of a bloody ass bear market with everybody flooding us, including the SEC, and you have these things coming alive, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yep. And we're getting all the positive news. We have all the positive news. We're seeing DeFi protocols win over and over and over again in the court system. And that's all really bullish for everything that we have built. I think it's just a matter of timing before that shows up in the price chart. And so now is the time to be patient. In fact, I think one thing that's really important to keep in mind, all of us suffer from recency bias. Like right now we're all stuck in the bear market. I've seen a number of people that are like, oh, if I could just get a double, I'd be so happy. And I think that's great. If double's what you're after, by all means, go and cash out whenever you go and you get the double. But gosh, don't let your recency bias shoot yourself in the foot when the bull market comes back into full effect and leave tons of money on the table. Or you're trying to trade the bottom. I think that's a pretty realistic scenario to say, hey, how much cheaper do you think pricing really could go right now in assets that you like? And are you willing to take a risk that you go and you sell and you could theoretically buy back cheaper and you're wrong? How much lower could it really go? I think that's a risk, at least for me. Now you got to make your own financial decisions, but for me, it's just it doesn't make any sense. My bags are packed. I'm hanging out. If I'm bringing more money, I'm bringing more money. But otherwise, we're here being patient, waiting for next year.
Agreed.
Nobody ever complains about catching Hex when it hit its peak at 56 cents. Nobody ever complains selling it for 46 cents. You know what I mean? It's the same here. It's like you wouldn't complain for selling it for 1 cent or buying it for under a penny and you wouldn't complain for buying it for 5 cents. You know, it's like in the bear market. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool guys. We appreciate everybody. What does MJ Money say here? On $1,000 USDC buy on Coinbase, there's a fee.
For USDC on Coinbase?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say earlier, that it depends on where you are located, because here in the UK, most of these exchanges, actually for us, the best deal right now is Swissborg, which only charge you 1%. So if Coast does the same thing, then it's good for us as well. But yeah, it depends on where you are located and how much money you planning to invest. Because if you do DCAing like me and my friends doing, if you want to put in like a few $100s a week, or like you get your 2-week or monthly paycheck, whatever, then if Coinbase and others charging you $30 just to move things around, then it's not really ideal. But if it's only 1%, then you know it's better. So it all depends on where you're located.
Yeah, that's true. So it might make sense for some people in some areas. But like I said, technically it's 0.7% that you're paying because of the delta from the bridge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you got to do the math, you know, and you figure out the best route for you. And there could be a big difference. I helped a guy like a couple weeks ago, send money through what was he using? I think he was using crypto.com, and his $5,000 turned into, it was like freaking $4,000. He lost $1,000 by the time we got out of there and bridged across and everything. And I was like, holy cow, how did that just happen? The fees over there were really expensive. Maybe I'm quoting the wrong platform. I can't remember who he was using, but I was like, note to self, not doing that again. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. So cool guys. Well, this has been good. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Frank, Norbert, any last parting words?
Thanks guys for doing this. You know, you guys are great. I love you guys. I think your show's awesome. All the work you guys put in, I think benefits a lot of people. So just appreciate, you know, what you guys are doing, and then also inviting us to come, you know, people to come on. I think it's really great. A lot of people, you know, myself included, I'm not a streamer, so it's nice to come on and be a part of the community. And so thanks for doing what you're doing, guys.
Absolutely. I've seen you streaming a little bit though. I saw you on Ben's show too the other day. It was really cool.
Yeah, we're glad you joined us. We're glad both of you joined us.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool, guys. Go ahead, Norbert. I didn't want to skip you. Any last parting words you want to give us before we send off?
Frank's nailed it and said it brilliantly, but I hope that other streamers are going to do something similar what you're doing, guys. Being genuine and inviting the people, share some knowledge and wisdom with each other, learn, educate, you know. And this is how we all need to grow, you know. We all on the different levels, and you never know. Sometimes you can learn something from a guy who is only like not even a squid in the water, you know, but then it can tell you like a good advice. Oh, why don't you do like this? And then, oh, I haven't thought about that. Or anything can happen, but it's brilliant. For me, this Friday is one of the best day of the week. When the little notification pops up, yeah, Corey and Dane is live. Join them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, seriously, appreciate.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank for you guys in the comments. We always appreciate your feedback. We're here to pump everybody's bags. So make sure to smash the like, subscribe, all that stuff on your way out, and we'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
See you guys.
All the best. Bye-bye.